Hi all. So as far as you just seen about the usage of variables, data types and different kinds of control statements in Java. So now we are going to use these variables, data types and control statements to create simple programs in Java. So let us dive into this. So I have created a Java program for finding the factorial, Fibonacci and finding an Armstrong number. So just going to explain these programs. So the first program would be finding the factorial of a given number. So what is meant by factorial of a number? It just the result of product of each number from 1 to n. So the user has given n as input, and if the user has given us 5, it was the product of each number from 1 to n. So I just explained in this here just from 1 to n. So 1 to n, that is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. The result of the product of all these numbers would be the factorial of a given number. So if the user has given us 6, it was product from 1 to 6. So the product of all these numbers was the factorial of a given number. So let us see the Java program for how to calculate this by using a Java program. Yeah, this will be the program for creating a factorial of a given number. So the first step would be declaring the variable. So int fact equal to 1 and n. So the next step would be getting the input from the user for n. Yeah, scanner in equal to new scanner of system.in. So this was the object for getting the input from the user. So you can use any object name here. So for in you can use any name. So the next step would be getting an input from the user. So n equal to in dot next int of. So this was the statement for getting the input from the user, and I was caps here, you need to note, and for scanner yes caps here. So n equal to in dot next int of, and you need to the main function public static void main of string arguments of so the main function you need to declare the main function for this program, yes caps here. So yes, you just get an input from the user, and the next step would be declaring the for loop for I int I equal to 1 and I less than or equal to n. So from 1 to n and I plus plus. So for loop you just seen in the previous video, initialization, test condition and increment or decrement. So this next step would be you need to declare, that is fact equal to fact star I. Here 1 from 1 into, you need to iterate up to n. So 1 into 1 and just shows the result in fact, and then for second iteration 1 into 2, and for third iteration 2 into 3, and for fourth iteration 2 into 3 6, and it shows the result here 6 into 4, and up to the user has given the input number n. If it is 5, the iteration goes for 5 and it prints the result in print the result as fact. So you need to run this application, and if the user has if the user has given the input as 5, the result would come as 120, and if the user has given us 7, the result would come as 5040. Yeah, this was the program for creating finding the factorial of a given number. So the next program would be finding the Fibonacci of a given number. So Fibonacci of a given number is the sum of two preceding ones starting from 1, which will result in a Fibonacci number. So if the user had given us input as 6, it was the so the first two numbers will be default numbers, so 1 and 1, and the third number would be the result of sum of two preceding numbers, 1 plus 1, and this comes as 2, and the next number was the result of sum of two preceding numbers, 1 and 2, which is 3, and 5 was the sum of 2 plus 3, and 8 was the sum of 5 plus 3. So this was the Fibonacci number. Fibonacci is the sum of two preceding numbers, and the first two numbers is default numbers. So let us see the Java program for finding Fibonacci number. Yeah, the program for finding Fibonacci number. So the first step would be declaring the variables, and you need to declare two variables with initialization as 1, because the first two numbers is default numbers 1 and 1, and sum equal to 0 here, because you need to add those numbers. And the next step would be the for loop for adding those numbers for initialization and test condition less than or equal to 6. You can give as any input, or you can get from the user, the input from the user, and increment, and then you need to declare. So the next step would be sum equal to a plus b. You need to add those numbers. You need to add those numbers, two numbers, and you need to store the b value in a, and you need to store the sum value in b, because you need to add and you need to replace those numbers, and you need to continue until the n numbers, that is up to 6. So you need to add those numbers, and you need to print here, and you need to replace the b value in a and sum value in b, and you need to print the numbers. Yes. Yeah, here you just if you are printing the from 1 to 6, it just print the number from 2, but you need to print the number from the default numbers 1 and 1. So you need to include a system.out.println, that is, you need to print those a and b before you are going to iterate those numbers. So a and b you need to print here. So the result comes as, you need to run, and the result comes from 1 to up to 6. So this was the program for finding the factorial of a number. So the next program for finding the Armstrong of a given number. So Armstrong number is the sum of its own digits raised to the power of number of digits. So if the user has given input as 153, here the count of each digit would be 3. Here there are 3 numbers is available. So 1 is 153. So there are 3. Number of digits is 3, so you need to multiply each digit with each digit as 3 times. So 1, which was multiply as 3 times, and 5 as 3 times, and 3 as 3 times, and finally you need to add those the product, the resultant of a product, each product, and you need to analyze whether the given number is equal to the sum of the product. If it is equal, the given number was an Armstrong number, otherwise it is not an Armstrong number. So Armstrong number is the sum of each digits raised to the power of number of digits. So here if you are giving input as 4-digit number, you need to multiply each digit as 4 times. If it is 5-digit number, you need to multiply each digit as 5 times, and finally you need to add those product resultants, and you need to check those check with the given number. If it is equal, then it is an Armstrong. So let us see the Java program for creating an Armstrong number, so finding an Armstrong number. Yeah, this was the program for finding a number is Armstrong or not. So first you need to declare the variables, and you need to get an input from the user by using the statement n equal to next int of. So next you need to create a while loop to check whether the given number is Armstrong or not. So while n not equal to 0, here you need to check at each time n is not whether it is not equal to 0. So next step would be int a equal to n mod 10. Here the given number was taken as mod with 10. Then so the resultant of mod would be the remainder of a given number. So the next step would be sum equal to 0. You need to declare for adding, then sum plus the 3 times here. So I just implement for 3 numbers, so 153, but you need to check, you need to count the each digit, count the number of digits of a given number before you proceed with this looping statement. So I just used here directly, but you need to count the numbers. So yeah, so the first step would be finding the mod, then you need to add those product, resultant product, that is a into a into a, that is 3 times you need to multiply, because I just used here directly 3 times, plus you need to add with the sum. So the next step would be n, that is the given number was taken as division with 10. Here you need to consider the quotient. So at each time you need to multiply each time you need to multiply with multiply with the resultant of a given number. So yes, first you need to take mod, then you need to add with the take 3 times as multiplication, need to add with the sum, and the next step would be taken as division. So again you need to check whether the n is not equal to 0, and the next step would be finding, and so the loop continues until it becomes equal to 0. So yes, the next step would be whether you need to check the given number with the resultant, that is n equal to sum. So it's an Armstrong number, so otherwise it is not an Armstrong number. So here, yes, here 153 is not an, it comes as not an Armstrong number, but it's an Armstrong number. Why the resultant has come like this? You need to check, because here n has been taken as division and you had taken as mod. So at the next step itself n has checked with the sum, but here if you had printed the statement, n will be stored as 0. So it comes as not an Armstrong number. So you need to store this n value in another variable before you need to check with the resultant of sum. So before you're going to check with the sum, you need to store this n value in another variable. So yeah, if you are running this application, the result would come as it's an Armstrong number. So again you need to check with the another number. It's not an Armstrong number, and 371, it's an Armstrong number. Yeah, so this was the program for finding whether a given number is Armstrong or not. So first step would be getting an input, then next step would be the while loop. You need to check whether then n is not equal to 0, and you need to take mod, then and you need to multiply each digit as the power of number of digits of a given number. You need to add, then you need to take division, and then you need to store this n value in another variable before you're going to check with the given number. If it is equal, it's an Armstrong number, otherwise it's not an Armstrong number. So before you are going to use this loop, you need to count the number of digits in a given number, then you need to proceed with this while loop. So yes, so as far as I just explained 3 kinds of programs such as Factorial, Fibonacci, and Armstrong number. So you can try these simple programs for in Java. So finding whether the given number is even or not, or the prime number, and printing a Pascal triangle like pyramid, reversing a string, palindrome, whether the given alphabet is a vowel or not. You can use switch statement, and for finding leap year, and then largest among 3 numbers and sum of natural numbers. So you can use these questions for you can create a Java program for finding the solution for these given questions. So yes, I hope you just understand the basic knowledge about variables, data types, and their usage, like control statements in Java. So I hope you understand these concepts. So thank you for listening to my video. So let us see in the next video. So bye.